On today's episode, we're going to talk about the photo that started Crew Stories, Winning Time, Hunger Games, raising a family in the film business, and of course, lying through your teeth. Just a little bit of business before we start. There may be a curse word here or there in this episode, so please listen responsibly. As always, our website, theop.io, is up and chock full of tips, tricks, and gooey operator goodness. Make sure to check out The Breakdown, where the best operators in the biz explain shots they have done, The Musings, where we discuss everything from quick tips to larger concepts of storytelling, the answers, the images, and so much more. I may or I may not take a break or two during this episode, but I promise that none of them will be longer than 22 seconds.
Hey everybody, Danny Brown here, creator of the Knuckle Puck, and we at Knuckle Puck Camera are proud supporters of this episode of The Op. The Knuckle Puck is a camera accessory loved by operators and camera assistants alike that allows the operator to pan and tilt with precision and ease. Check it out at knucklepuckcamera.com and make sure to follow us on Instagram at knucklepuckcamera.
See? 20 seconds. Finally, if you are enjoying the podcast, please follow us, write a review, share us with your parents, and talk us up around the water cooler with your friends. So grab a beverage, sit back, and enjoy The Op. Thanks for listening.
Lock it up, nice and quiet, and let's roll.
Rolling. Victor 30 Echo, take 2.
Hey, Margaret. Hey, Mark.
And camera set. And action.
Hello and welcome back to the Op Podcast. I am Dave Comides, your host, and we are back with the podcast where we talk about operators and operating and the art of visual storytelling. I am here yet again, thankfully, in Panavision Woodland Hills in the theater, which they allow me to use for the sound because it's better than the bathtub in the master bathroom in our house. And I am very excited to have a friend and someone I've worked with before, and I haven't worked with in a while because she's always busy, Jess Lakoff Canon. Jess is a camera operator. She presently works as a B camera operator and has done some A camera operating, but I personally think is transitioning to A camera operating. Maybe she'll fight me on that. We'll see. So some of her credits include Winning Time Season 2, the Lakers show on HBO, which has some really cool stuff in it, Gaslit, Perry Mason, Star Trek Picard, High Desert, and Bombshell. As well as previously to that, she was an AC on Snowfall, where I actually met her, TV show. Dirty Dancing, the remake, not the original. Hunger Games, Mockingjay Part 1 and 2, Django Unchained, and probably the coolest thing of all, a movie about the Muppets called The Muppets, which just is awesome because it's the Muppets. So without further ado, Jess, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
It's good to see you. I never get to see you anymore because you're always working and you're never available.
Yeah, there's that little thing called work. I miss you though.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to work again together.
Jess and I started working together on Snowfall. We'd never met each other before, and I was the A camera operator for a month or 2 months. Or
yeah, right.
Like that.
Yeah, you came in to cover.
Jody Miller. Jody Miller
right.
took off, and apparently nobody else was available, so they called me, and I came in. We had an absolute blast. That was like a lot of fun. A long time ago.
I was a focus puller. I learned a lot from you.
Yeah,
actually.
Well,
so
hopefully you learned some good stuff and not just the bad stuff. You learned how to be obnoxious to directors of photography. Jeff Greeley, I'm talking about you. Anyway, tell me your story. How did you get here?
I was my dad's best friend from growing up is a director of photography. His name's Larry Blanford, and basically I grew up kind of on just hearing his stories. Like, he traveled all over the world. He mainly does second units, but also does some first units, and lives the lifestyle, like jet setter, and just so cool. So I went to Purdue. I grew up in Indiana, went to Purdue University, was studying biology, hated it, and basically switched my majors, which Purdue doesn't have the greatest film industry. Like, I think I majored in telecom and film studies, and then basically moved out here, became a PA, and then got into the union, became a loader, was a second for a while, then bumped up. Every time I bumped up, it was I was out of my league, basically. It was like sink or swim. Somebody was like, hey, do you want to do this? And I was like, sure, I can do that. And then just lying through my teeth, basically, learning on the job. I mean, obviously, I did it long enough. Like, I was a loader for, 3 years, 4 years. Then I was a second for 4 years. Then I was a first for 5 years. And then I became an operator.
So basically what you're saying is like all those jumps weren't like, hey, it's now time for me to, I've studied
Never.
this. It's more sort of like so-and-so is sick. We need you to do this. And you're like, yeah.
Basically, I was the key second on Hunger Games on Catching Fire. I started Mockingjay Part 1 as the key second. And then the B camera first left for another job, and we were calling around. We were looking, me and the A camera first and the A camera operator, and the A camera first turned to me and said, why don't you want this? And I said, well, I do. This is the biggest movie in the world right now. Like I didn't think I was qualified, basically. And he said, yeah, but just keep in mind, like if you fail, you are fired. And we were going to Europe, so it was like kind of I was like, oh, I don't want to fail. Like so, and then. But, you know, I knew the director, I knew the DP, I knew the actors. They all trusted me.
Yeah.
So if I needed another shot at it, great. They gave it to me. Same with operating. I was on a movie. I was pulling focus on this movie Bombshell. And they were like, okay, we want a C camera all the time. We need an operator. And I said, well, I'll do it. Because I wanted to operate. I just didn't know how to make that transition. And they said, okay, you're hired. And I went, okay, here we go.
Wait, backing up to so you I'm sorry, I lose track of all the Mockingjay killing mockingbird, whatever. You moved up to assisting on which show? On which movie? You moved up to focus pulling on which movie?
Well, we shot Mockingjay Part 1 and Part 2 simultaneously.
Okay.
So it was like 5 months in Atlanta and then like a month in Berlin and a month in Paris.
Wow.
Reverse month in Paris, a month in Berlin. And so I switched in Atlanta throughout some part of that. Like we were shooting them. It was kind of a gray.
And what camera? But so one of the Mockingjay. Whatever. Yeah. So this is like the second or third movie essentially.
This is the third and fourth that they shot together.
So basically, what I'm trying to get to is this is a massive money making. Like this is one of the biggest movies in the world.
I mean,
and you're jumping up to
and
focus
like
pulling.
Massive stars. I mean, we had Philip Seymour Hoffman, we had Donald Sutherland, we had Jennifer Lawrence, we had Liam Neeson Liam Hemsworth. Yeah, Josh Hutcherson.
We won't tell him.
These, exactly. It's wrong, Liam. And then we had like Woody Harrelson. You know, it was all these people, but I had been with them.
So you've worked with them for like 2 or 3 months already.
I had worked with them previously on Catching Fire as well.
Oh, okay,
as a second. Yeah. And you know, as a second, you're like marking them, you're putting slates in their faces. Like they knew me.
Yeah.
And we were all babies together, right? Like we were all like hanging out and like we were friends.
Yeah.
And the director is like a gem of a human, a dear friend, Francis Lawrence. He's like one of the most wonderful directors I've ever worked for. And I had their full support. And Yo Willems was the DP. And like, I just had everyone's full support. And it was like the safety net that you don't normally get.
And you were pulling focus on which camera?
B camera. Yeah.
So, but basically, I'm assuming on that show, B camera is working all the time.
We worked a lot. It's, and this comes back to like what, you know, some of the things we're probably going to talk about is B camera is like and especially as a B camera operator, like it has to work in the edit. Like you can't just go off like B camera is great. I love B camera. It's my favorite position because you get to be super creative. But like this is a massive franchise, a big movie. It's not like they're going to cut from, you know, a close up of Jennifer Lawrence to like some bird's eye aerial view of like something else like it and Dave Thompson was the A camera operator and he was very protective of the vision and like it had to work. So it's not like B camera was like going off and like climbing a mountain and shooting like weird stuff, which sometimes they do. We were very much involved in the process.
You were in the mix and part
in
of
the storytelling process.
I don't know if you remember this, but on Snowfall, one of my big memories was, speaking to what you're talking about, is I'd set up some like great A camera shot and you and I'd be totally psyched, and then I'd look over at Patrick Rousseau setting up some like just really simple B camera shot and I'd be like, that's so much better than what I have.
It's Patrick Rousseau hands down is like one of my favorite B cameras because like
he's like surgical. I mean, he would just find this stuff and be like, yeah, you do that and I'm going to do this over here.
Like he'd be in the sink or like under the he is climbing out of the ceiling and you're like, that shot's so good, Patrick. Like stop it.
It was rather annoying, but you're absolutely right. And it's actually it's funny because I don't do B camera as much as I'd like to, and I think
it's the best job on set. I'm going to go
is
out
in a
there.
weird way. But
Yeah.
so for people who don't know, though, I would assume that you were the classic B camera. Of a lot of times you were on the longer lens, which
Yes.
is a harder focus pull.
Very much so.
And this
Yes.
was film?
It was film.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like my first, real, I had done it, but not done it at this level.
Yeah.
I remember one of the first times they were like, okay, you've got the job. We're moving up. It was like a close in slider push in of Josh Hutcherson. And I think I took like 30 marks, like with my tape measure, soft tape measure, like all the like marking on the slider, like all the tricks I had seen these pros do.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I can do this. And it was like a 2-foot slider,
Yeah.
3-foot slider or something.
But still,
Yeah.
did you get it?
Yeah, I got it.
How many takes
It's in the
did
movie.
it take?
I think like 4 or 5.
Okay, good.
Sorry, Josh. Sorry.
Yeah.
One more time.
Yeah.
No, let's do
Jess,
it
as
again.
I push the camera and you want to turn that little knob
Yeah,
there
yeah.
and follow me.
Yeah.
But so how long did it take till you would wake up in the morning and go, I got this?
Oh, that's a really good question. I mean, I feel like I did in my career, because I think like my advice to young filmmakers is like, if you're bored and you're not having fun and you're not learning anything, then it's probably time to move up. And I don't think I ever felt that in any part of my career.
Okay.
Which might like expose me. I don't know.
No,
Like even when I moved up to operating, I was still having a really good time pulling focus.
Yeah.
Like I worked with great operators. I was still learning things, but I was also using those learning tools as a springboard to
Sure.
figure out how I was going to operate.
Well, but I remember on Snowfall, like as soon as we sort of got to know each other, you were constantly asking me questions, and I was like, oh, great, this is another assistant, great assistant who's just going to leave and become an operator next week.
Well, that's the problem, right? If you're really good at your job, you get it's hard. That's what the same deal with loaders even now. If you're a really good loader, you're going to move up.
Yeah.
You can't keep people down.
It's exactly right.
Well, and that's I've had amazing I've had amazing people in my corner that have really helped me and assisted me on the move ups, which I think that you don't always get. Sometimes people want to keep you down.
There's or people don't want to keep you down, or they're just like, look, I'm going to give you the opportunity, but I don't care whether you make it or not because we'll just get someone else in here. And I mean, there's something huge about people. I will say this, having, I don't know, you're my 15th podcast interview or something like that.
Man, really?
I know, right?
Should be. Wow. Jeez,
and one of the things that just happens over and over and over again is there's two things. One is people stumbling into opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean to say that you stumbled into it, but they needed someone and you were available and you were ready. And two is sticking the landing when you get there.
Yeah.
And look, there are definitely situations where people didn't, but then you learn from that and you go on to the next one and you're that much better off. But I'm going to back up again because the question that I actually asked you that you didn't answer was, and I'll preface this, I started ER when I was, anybody who's listening to all this podcast, I've probably said 30 times, 26. And I did not move my stuff into the truck for a good 2 weeks because I just assumed I was getting fired every day. I'd look at the call sheet and be like, oh, whoa, I'm going to get paid for another day. This is great.
Here we go.
Nobody's figured it out yet. And I would say it probably took me a month and a half to 2 months to go, oh, this is my job. I'm actually going to keep my job.
Guys.
So my question is when you moved up, how long did it take till you woke up in the morning and you were, I'm a focus puller and I can do this?
Oh, man. I think, I also feel like I have a lot of confidence in myself. Mm-hmm. And so I think by the end of that movie, when I wasn't fired and I got to go to Europe as a focus puller, I think I was I can do any job.
So it took, but sometime within the movie though. But it took a couple of weeks or a month or whatever.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I think like I said, I also had that insane safety net of people that were helping. Yeah. So I think I thought in my head that they weren't probably going to let me fail. Yeah. Which might have been false confidence.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No, that's fine. That's fair.
And then as an operator, I think after that movie, again, maybe I just think too highly of myself. But
boy, are you full of yourself.
Day 2, I was fine. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
I think by the time you wrap a project as that position, but I don't think that I was I don't think I was ever nervous that I would be fired. I don't know why that is. I
That's
should have
good.
been.
That's good.
But like, yeah.
Do you remember on that first movie, Focus Pulling, as you got into it, anything that you just really, really screwed up where you were like, I can't believe you couldn't get a shot or whatever? Well, basically, or even as an operator, because what I'm looking for is, when you're first starting out, you're your own worst critic, or maybe you're not. It sounds like you're not. It sounds like you're like, I am so good. Everybody, no. But I think we're our own worst critics, and like I would do stuff. I remember on ER, by the way, the first, like I would watch dailies, and I would like go frame by frame because I'm like, what did I screw up? And I actually remember it was the end of the first week. I think it was first week or second week. And I was watching dailies, and there was my full reflection in a piece of glass that I missed. And I literally was like, I was like picking up the phone, making sure it worked, because I was like, I'm going to get fired.
Yeah.
And that weekend, I went to a wedding that the director of photography was also at, and we had talked about, we know this person, and you're going to be there. And I went up to him and I said, his name was Richard Thorpe. He was a funny guy. I said, Richard, I need to talk to you. And he's like, yeah, what's up? He's got a drink in his hand. He's smoking a cigar
At a wedding, off.
And I was like, listen, I don't know if you've seen dailies. No, I don't watch dailies. And I was like, there was a reflection, and first of all, I'm so sorry. And I may have even said, like, if you have to replace me or something like that. Anyway, here's my letter of resignation on a sheet cake or something like that. And I remember he put his arm around. He's like, Dave, they'll cut around it. They won't use it. Nobody cares. have a drink. And I was like whoa. But so was there anything where you were like, oh my God, I just completely fucked up? And the question more so is, if that happened, how do you jump back from that and regain your confidence? Because it happens to everybody.
It does. The one that sticks out in my mind is not even like, I was the key second on Django.
Okay.
And Quentin never has a second camera. He never sends people away for
Just for the people who aren't as cool as you, Django Unchained and Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Yeah. And so
Name dropper.
Quentin had sent myself to pull focus with Larry McConkey, who's like a
huge
legend,
operator. Yep.
across the plantation with one of the producers to direct this, and number one and number two, so Jamie Foxx and Kerry Washington.
And Larry was like the B camera, Steadicam operator.
Yes.
On this? Okay, so it's basically like you were talking about, sending B camera off to do
which
something.
never happens on a Quentin movie ever. And for some reason, I don't know if, and I'm not privy to these conversations. Maybe it was time constraints. I don't know. But we're way, way like a stake bed ride away from main unit. And Larry realizes he forgets his diopter, and wears glasses. So
a diopter for the eyepiece.
For the eyepiece.
So it can be in focus. I see. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And this is my first time, not ever, but very, very green pulling focus.
Yeah.
Anamorphic lenses, film, the whole bit, and with Jamie Foxx and Kerry Washington, right? So big time.
Yeah.
And the director, the producer that was the director at this moment in this weird scenario we were in, was like, he wanted them to pop up in frame, look at each other, and run away. And it's whatever. And I'm like, I don't know, Larry. I think they're within minimum. I have my soft tape.
Let me back up for a sec for people who may not understand this. So what you're saying is, because Larry didn't have his diopter, he couldn't tell you whether it was. He couldn't, as the operator, go, you nailed it.
Correct.
And so it basically is even more so on you than usual.
And in film, you rely so heavily on the operator,
sure.
And again, I'm really green at this point. So we do it, a couple times or whatever. And again, watching dailies, which doesn't happen anymore, right?
No, it doesn't.
And these were projected dailies. They built a theater for Quentin and Bob in
Bob
New Orleans. Yeah. And we're sitting there. I'm sitting in this theater that they built in between Bob and Quentin. And the dailies come up, and they are so soft. And it's like, oh my God. I wanted to sink into the seat.
Yeah.
I wanted, and I talked, Gregor Tavernier was the A camera first.
A huge camera.
Legend
camera
also.
now a camera operator,
and I had written my senior paper on Quentin Tarantino. I was a huge fan. This was a dream job, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I am getting fired. I'm getting fired.
Totally.
And Gregor was really great. Pulled me aside. He's like, first of all, this is a great learning opportunity.
Did anybody say anything in dailies?
Oh yeah. Bob was not happy.
Bob
like,
Richardson.
yeah,
Yeah.
very unhappy.
Not
with me.
not an easy guy.
Not
to,
an
yeah,
easy guy,
yeah.
and just
Not a
very
quiet
like.
individual.
No, I mean,
Okay.
I literally like was going to cry.
I mean,
Like,
was it literally him turning around and going, "What the fuck"?
Well, I can't actually tell
Yeah,
you
yeah,
what he
no,
said
but,
to me,
but I'm
but
saying,
like,
but
yes,
yeah.
yes.
So it publicly depantsing you essentially. Yeah.
Like beyond,
Yeah.
like shaming.
I'm
yeah.
just trying to set this up
Yes.
for people who have been through this to realize
Oh.
you can survive this.
Well, and it's
Yeah.
just like this. I mean, nobody watches dailies anymore, and nobody sees dailies, and like, and it's film. It's not like you can just tune it or
Yeah.
like focus it.
Yeah.
You know, they ended up using the shot, but they like cross process. Like the
They
film
figured
is so
something out.
fucked up
Yeah.
that like you can't tell that it's soft anyway.
Yeah.
But like my shot is in that movie. It's
Wow.
immortalized forever.
I now remember this because I tried to watch the movie. Then there was one shot where they bopped up and it was out of focus. And I was like, I can't watch this movie.
This is trash.
I haven't
This
seen a
is
Tarantino
garbage.
movie since then. And like it destroyed the entire genre for me.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you.
know, you're welcome. That's what I do.
Jess Canon, genre killer. No, but actually this is great because like for people out there who think like I just screwed up and my life is over, like, I mean, it doesn't get worse than
Not
a
for me.
Tarantino movie with Bob Richardson in the theater screaming at you because you're out of focus
Yeah.
and you were jumping up and Larry didn't have his dive. I mean, that's like a perfect
it just
storm
was a perfect
situation.
storm. Yeah, and like Larry, you know, it's like it's nobody. He also like publicly depants Larry as well, but like
sure.
mainly it was to
No,
me.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Well, because it's your responsibility.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the
yeah.
operator's responsibility to catch it, but at
Right.
the end of the day, focus is on you.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So there was. I mean, I think I can also think of probably so many
But
times.
backing up, so
yeah.
how did you process that?
I was devastated. Gregor pulled me aside and basically he was really supportive and he said, here's the deal. You're not going to get fired. You're not a first. You're a second that bumped up for the day.
We
Like,
asked you to step out of your
like,
category.
It's
yeah.
not really your job, but like kind of your job. But also great learning opportunity because nobody watches dailies. Nobody sees them projected. And nobody gets to sit between Quentin and Bob and like
Yeah.
have this situation. Like, I promise you, you're not getting fired.
Yeah.
But like, take this and
Yeah.
like really process it.
And so what did you do with that?
I think I like sobbed for days in a fetal position and like, I was like my career's
One way to
over.
deal with it.
Yeah. No, I think I like, again, this industry's so hard that you kind of like have to be a little bit of a duck and let things roll off your back. Like you have to get over it,
Yeah.
right? Like then that day we're doing another scene with Jamie and it's like, you know, you just have to move on and you have to be okay with like, I think I've worked with some of the like biggest screamers in the industry. And I think that's maybe why I'm okay. Like I do fairly well with them because
Yeah.
I can take it.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, yes, sir. I understand. Like I'm not saying it's right, but there are like our industry traditionally has some assholes, you know?
No.
And like,
it's a coping mechanism.
yeah. And I think like at the end of the day, you just have to really just kind of swallow your pride and like, yeah, I'm sorry. It won't happen again. Like, I don't know. I don't have a way of, I think I like black out. I don't know what I do, but like my parents were really nice. Let me tell you, I wasn't like from a screaming family,
Okay.
but like
All right.
somehow I can,
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's great though.
I like
Yeah.
turn it off somehow.
And I'm assuming you didn't. So that's why you didn't move up to focus pulling on Django Unchained.
Yeah,
It was
no.
not. It was not
They
something
were
that was
like,
discussed
never
at that point.
again. Like, you know that second unit we sent out? That's why I don't do it. Like, God, you guys are the worst. We're like,
Wow.
this ragtag
So
team.
so you moved up to operating on what did you say it was?
Bombshell.
Bombshell, which is a movie.
It's a movie about Roger Ailes, Fox News.
Oh, yeah.
It's got like Nicole Kidman, Margot Robbie, Charlize Theron, like wonderful, wonderful women cast. But it's about this like really intense man, Roger Ailes,
Mm-hmm.
and Jay Roach, who is a director, wonderful gem of a human. Also one of my favorite. He directed High Desert, which is how
Okay.
I got on that show. And they just also gave me like this incredible safety net where it was Barry Aykroyd shot it, who is
Okay.
also wonderful.
Yeah.
And we shot it very documentary style. Like we all had little zooms and we zoomed in camera. And
Okay.
it's a really great movie. It's well done. It's just about this like horrid man, you know?
It's a terrible story.
Yeah. But
Yeah. And so you were hired as the camera operator on that?
no, I was hired as so Barry operates his own camera. So technically, I guess he's A camera. And then Josh Medak was B camera operator, who's done a few movies with Barry. And then I was hired as like I was the B focus puller, actually, because Hector Rodriguez was A. And so, like, you know, as the B focus puller, you kind of like come in and make a few jokes and like you're, you know, and then I said I wanted to move up and they allowed me to move up. And yeah, it was like such an amazing experience because, again, everyone was so kind and understanding. And like it was this weird style, right? Like we don't normally shoot like zooming and moving and
So it allows for sort of being a little green.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Wait, but I don't understand. So did someone leave and you moved up?
No, they just added a third camera. They wanted a third
added
camera
Your
all
C
the time.
camera. Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Because of how they were shooting, they could
Correct.
go with it.
Yeah,
Oh.
we just had 3 cameras like pointing at each other.
Oh, and also a C camera, probably they're not quite like,
Totally.
spotlighting you.
Yeah. Yeah. I do remember doing one shot. Charlize was the producer, and I had like, it's in the movie. It's when Rupert Murdoch, it's a very famous scene, like in real life, he got up on the boxes of paper in the office and whatever. And I zoomed into an eyepiece of a TV, like a prop camera, and like, and I hear Charlize go, "That was awesome, Jess! Like you're awesome! Like I want to work with you all the time." And I was like, "Okay, this is a pretty cool. Like
That's
I'm
great.
in." Yeah.
So, and I don't mean to say that you haven't earned this, but do you think that some of that is because they're excited? Someone like Charlize is excited that a woman is the camera operator.
100%.
And like I said, you deserve that.
Oh, I don't think I deserve any of this.
No, I mean, look. And this bin is. We talked about this earlier. Is on this podcast. You know, I'm interviewing. Veteran camera operators and older camera operators and whatever, and it's hard to find women because they just weren't. They didn't come up back then. 20 years from now, it'll be very different. 10 years from now, whatever. But that's the case. So, I mean, you didn't personally earn that, but you fought through that to get there. So I think there's something to that, right?
I mean, I was in the industry for a long time where I was the only female in the camera department.
Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And did you ever see female camera operators?
Never.
No.
Never. And I remember working with Amy on Snowfall.
Amy Vincent.
Yes.
Yes.
And I was like so happy to meet her.
Who was operating?
She
came in and DP'd an episode.
No,
maybe?
she came in and operated.
Okay.
Also, like I think it was maybe a different season.
Okay. Well, because she and John Lindley and Jeff Greeley are
Go
all
way
connected,
back.
and
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's all
That makes
part of
sense.
the same
Yeah,
family.
okay.
And I remember being so excited to meet her because she's a legend and a female and one of the very like forefront. You know, like Ellen Kura's. You know all the names.
There's
right?
that small group, and
Yes.
everybody knows them. So Amy was a first AC for a while,
Yep.
and an operator for a while, now a DP,
And she really like paved the way for a lot of women.
Yeah.
But I hadn't ever worked with a female. I hadn't even worked with a female first. I don't think.
Wow.
Like ever.
Yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, I was a loader with all men. A second usually with all men, and then once I became a first, the movement started to happen where there were more females, and I finally started to like work with second ACs that were women, and then as an operator, I just did Gaslit. We had an all female B camera crew.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
I was
cool.
the operator, and then we had a first and a second, and it was great.
It's happening. I mean, it's funny because I don't. Sometimes, like I've been on things where people have pointed out, and I'll be like, "Really? Oh, I guess it is." Which I'm sort of happy about because I try not, it's just like I just want to work with good people. But
Absolutely.
obviously, I want diverse crews, but I want to work with good people at the end.
Well,
of
and
the
you
day.
want people to also be good at their jobs.
That's what. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But and as you were moving up, did you feel a sense of Did you feel a weight of like, I don't want to screw up because then it's a woman screwing up?
Yeah, big time. I think the pressure. So going back, I said that my dad's best friend was a DP. He did a movie where like basically I was the camera PA, and then when they had 3 cameras, I was the loader, and that's how I got my days on this movie. So you're a little bit of a must hire, which I always say that must hires work twice as hard. You have to, because you're proving yourself, or at least the good ones do. You know?
Meaning, we want to hire a woman, we want to hire a person of color or something like that, and you basically want to go, look, I know why I'm here, but I want you to realize that I'm here because that you want me because I'm good, not because of
Absolutely.
something else.
At the end of the day, I don't want to be a box to check.
Yeah.
I want to be hired because I'm good at my job.
Do you see? I mean, just bluntly, as a white guy,
Yeah.
I don't ever think about that. I
Right.
mean, not that I don't think about that, but personally, I've never. Is it weird to know that you've been hired for that reason?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like a very, well, it makes me want to succeed twice as much, I
Yeah.
think, or maybe not twice, but like, more. I want to prove.
Yeah.
And I feel like my whole career, first as a must hire, secondly as a woman, like has been like proving to people that I am good at my job and I want to be there, not
Gotcha.
just because of like who I
Backing
know.
up, I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
misunderstood that. You were saying you were a must hire on that because the director of photography said you are hiring this person, and I
Yeah.
see what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's
So it's been my entire career.
that's even
I
more
mean,
so. Yeah. Because
because now I'm not necessarily a must hire, but then like on High Desert, Jay was the director, and so I was like. I got hired by the director, which is also a weird.
it's a
thing.
must hire in a way.
Totally.
I mean,
I
it is
didn't
a
know
must
any
hire.
of the camera crew. I
Yeah.
ended up getting along famously with them.
Mhm.
I just did another show with the DP.
Yeah.
And but that's all. It's always this like weird. I always say that to get into any other career from this career, like we should be the most desired, hireable people because we can work with anyone. We change careers every 3 months or whatever, however you change jobs. We work with whole new crews. You have to get along with everybody. But like for some reason, nothing translates to any other career.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, cool, you're a camera operator. Like, I don't, whatever. That
You
doesn't.
can't do anything else.
Literally. But
it-
like we should be
Yeah.
super hireable, more so than anybody that works at a desk or in an office, I think.
I totally agree, but at the same time, it's such a specific. I mean,
Oh,
the
yeah.
weird thing is, especially as being an A camera operator, but also as being a B camera operator, it's like you're a cheerleader, you're a psychiatrist,
Yeah.
you're a hand holder,
Totally.
You're a team leader, you're I mean, it just goes on and on and on, and it's constantly, and there's no really definition of all the crap that you have to do because it just gets thrown at you and it's dropped on your doorstep and you're like, oh, I guess I'm dealing with this now. And, it's just.
Well, and as an operator now, you're more in a leadership position. So
Yes.
like you're in charge of, or not in charge of, but you're taking care of this crew, mainly just the camera crew, but also your dolly grip, all these people that like, they live lives, like full lives. Like you don't know what they're fighting. You don't know what they're going through. And I think being a mom has softened me more to that. Like when you're young and dumb in this industry, you're like, fight through it. I don't know why everyone's so emotional. Why are you in a bad mood today? Like, figure it out.
Suck
like,
it up.
And then you realize like, oh, that person just had chemo or their mom just died or whatever it is. Like their kid's sick. Like there's so many heavy things that happen and you're going to work with these people for 12 to 15 hours a day. They're seeing you more than they're seeing their family. So yeah, you're going to get some emotions. You're going to get some like hot tempers. You're going to get, I don't know. And I think the older I get, the more I understand that now because I didn't understand that as a kid.
Yeah, there are a lot of people I know who talk to me about what an ass you used to be, and then you had kids, and then they're like, no, Jess is actually okay. So I see that.
I just said
and
that
I think
to
it's brave
someone.
that you're saying that.
It really softened me. Yeah, I can.
So I want to talk about family, but before that, I want to touch on something you said.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned the dolly grip, and you came up the sort of quote unquote traditional way,
Yeah.
second AC, first AC, and obviously when you became a first AC, it sounds like you knew the dolly grip because you were working on that show and everything. But what about the shows early on, especially where you came in as the camera operator as a woman with a dolly grip you haven't worked with? And I pull this out a lot, and it's not to say anything against dolly grips. It's just that you're working very closely with someone, and you're really part of the exact same team. You're just different parts of the same team.
Totally.
And to me, it's actually, almost a 50-50 thing. But as the operator, you do sort of have to take the lead. And there's some dolly grips who might not want to be told what to do by a woman.
Yeah.
And there's some dolly grips, actually all dolly grips, I would say, who when someone comes in who doesn't have a big track record are doing exactly what I do when I show up and there's a dolly grip there. They're sort of poking and they're going, well, are you know? Do you know?
Are you legit?
Do you realize that I'm
Yeah.
off the mark, or like
Yeah.
how you know? And just so they know, like whether they can trust me or not.
It's like
you
a
know?
litmus test,
It's
right? Like
totally.
it's like they have to like feel you out, and that's where I was saying like where it's we change people that we work with. Like these are our colleagues, right? Our like coworkers, but it's new every job. Like I don't get to bring a dolly grip. I'm a B camera operator,
Yeah.
and most often, a lot of the time, you get. Not a lot. I'd say 50-50. There's a chance that it's just a guy, a grip that wanted to push dolly that like is your dolly grip now. And he might not be that experienced.
Because as the B camera operator, you're usually not getting you're usually getting
Yeah.
the person who's maybe moving up a little bit
Totally.
or something like that.
Like also kind of feeling it out, right?
So
And-
they're a little green potentially too.
yeah, and you can get really you can get stuck with like not such skilled people. But I think I like stand by this, and maybe this is like really naive of me, but I instantly try to make friends with like everyone. Like I think you mentioned the boom op and the set dresser, like these people that you're working closely day in and day out with, like be kind, be like respectful, like they're doing a job as well. And I think that you know, there's tools that as an operator you can do if say your dolly grip isn't hitting the mark, you know, you can add a slider or like there's like various ways to not make them feel inadequate. And I don't know if that's the best answer because I do know people like, you know, you have to perform. You have to be able to do your job. But I do think that there's like a little leeway, especially with B camera, where you're like, well, okay, let's try this again. You know, there's a way to talk to someone. I don't know. It's probably a convoluted answer, but
Well, I think one of the things is every situation specific, and every situation changes.
very much so.
But-
Read the room is what I always say.
But no, I think you hit on a lot of things, which is like you try to be kind, you try to be respectful, you try to realize that they have a tough job as well. But the reality is, I mean, look, we all know this. As soon as you get the call sheet, you're IMDbing people.
for sure.
And someone who IMDb's you is going to
Yeah.
go, okay, she's done some stuff, but she hasn't been doing this for 20 years.
Totally.
And they're going to walk in on day one going, I'm not sure who I'm getting here.
Right.
And there's going to be a little like sort of, you know, push and pull to
Yeah.
figure things out.
Yeah, and I think like I've been very fortunate. I mean, I'm thinking back on all my dolly grips, and I've really gotten along with all of them. And I just try to not spin it, but like we're working together. I do think it's 50-50. I'm just a bigger bridge towards DP and director than they maybe are.
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, I'm always going to, most of the time, ask what they think or how if this is the right tool for the job. Like, do you think that we should be doing planks or dolly track? Like, you know, like give them an opportunity to also give some input. Because I think like the minute you say like, I know what I'm doing, I'm 100% right, this is the way I want to do it, then they lose respect for you. You might not also know, like maybe they have something on the truck that you don't know that might work better. I don't know. Like I think that it's
No,
a very collaborative effort.
I think that's completely valid. I mean, look, I've been a camera operating for 30 some years now, and I still will, especially with cranes.
Yeah.
I still will. I'll look at the shot. I'll talk about the shot. I'll decide in my mind exactly where I think the base should go and where. So I've got it, and then I'll usually look at my dolly grip, assuming the dolly grip is the person who's dealing with this, and say, so this is what the shot is. Where do you think we should put the base?
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm testing. Well, I mean, look, if I've just started working with them, I'm testing them on a certain level. But it's really more, I don't want to tell you where I think because then
Totally.
your mind's there. You might have a better idea.
Yeah.
And if they do, I'll sort of go, why wouldn't we want it over there? And then we'll talk it through.
Totally.
And I'll go, what am I missing? And then sometimes it comes down to, you know what, let's do it your way or let's do it my way or whatever. But I think that, like you said, you don't know what they have on the truck.
Right.
You don't know whatever. And for me, it's a little bit like I'd rather a director, instead of going, it's a Steadicam shot from here to there and whatever, just go, I just want to move with them and I want to kind of be with them and like, you know, I want it to be close and wide or what.
What's the best way to do that?
Exactly.
Right? And then it becomes, because we're all cogs in this big machine, right?
Yeah.
That's like, the end of the day, we have this common goal to create a piece of art that like we're proud of. And I just think that the more people you include, like it's not a greedy, selfish industry. I mean, it is, but like in this sense that we're talking, it's really wonderful to work with all these people and get these inputs.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. Like I think I do the same thing where I've already decided what I think would be best for the job, for the shot. But then it's nice to I also enlist, like a lot of the times the key grip will come over and he's a good person to talk to because a lot of times they've had way more experience than me.
Yeah.
And so like, what do you think? And then we all kind of talk about it together.
Yeah.
So I've been very fortunate with
That's good.
the people I've worked with.
That's great.
Yeah.
Now, as a B camera operator, on the shows that you're on, how do you interact with the A camera operator? Like, do you pitch shots? Do you just sit back and try to find something and go to the DP? Do you just set up your camera and tell the A camera operator to get out of there?
Yes, no.
Do you say, do you know who I am?
Excuse me. My dolly needs to go right where yours
Exactly.
is. Please move over. No, I am, again, also collaborative effort. I think the A camera, I always like say to, in layman's terms, like meat and potatoes. Like you're in charge of this stuff. Whatever additional sides that I can offer is great. And normally I come up with my own shots and I pitch them to the DP or the director, like first the DP to make sure it like works with lighting. And then, or, depending on, it's all situational, obviously. But there's hardly a time ever when I'm like, I talk to the A camera. Sometimes if I'm like, oh, we need to get this at the same time, like where are you going to be? Oh, I'm going to be over here. Does this work? Kind of
So you
thing.
sort of operate as your own
I
own
do.
entities.
Yeah.
Huh? And have you ever had a situation where the A camera operator was not cool with that? Where
No.
they were like, I don't want you.
No.
No. All right.
But I know it happens.
Yeah.
And that's where I think that like, big movies or whatever, like very A camera operators that have been doing it a very long time are very protective of them doing all the shots and getting all the meat and potatoes, right?
Yep.
Like I think TV is a little different. I've been in like episodic for a little bit and it's,
That may be why, because you've been in episodic.
I think
a
so,
little bit, yeah.
honestly.
It's a little bit of a different, because I mean the thing
Yeah.
about episodic is so much of it is about time, and it's like,
Totally.
oh, you can get that. We don't need to do a
We have a
separate.
12-page count to get,
Yeah.
like get whatever you can,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I also think that I'm like, I think a big part of this industry is like, getting along with people, like playing nice with people.
no
So like
question.
if you can just go and like be friendly with the A camera operator, like they're not going to give you a super hard time. Like if you're a really hard personality, you're not going to get hired a lot, really. So
One would think, but it seems to happen
well,
sometimes.
also fair, yeah.
And what do you do? Do you ever have the situation where the director is telling you one thing and the DP is coming up and
Yeah.
saying, "Don't do that"?
That was the hardest. That was the hardest thing for me when I moved up as an operator. It's so much more political than I actually thought. As a focus puller, you're like, yeah, I do this. I like go home, whatever. As an operator, it's really, I've had quite a few jobs when that happens. And I don't know if I'm still very good at it. Honestly, I try to make everyone happy. I'm a people pleaser, but like, I'd like to say that like the director at the end of the day has a say in everything, but like I get hired by DPs. So there's a part of me where I'm like, oh, okay, you try to, again, play nice. I actually, I'm not very good at it, I will say. Like I still think I'm learning that aspect of this because it is like you're this gap and you're bridging the gap, and especially if the DP and the director don't get along.
That's mainly what I'm talking
so
about, because it
hard.
happens.
Because it does, and I don't have an answer for that, really.
Yeah.
I'm still learning.
All right. Well, when you figure it out, come back and tell me.
Do you know? Tell me.
I think, one of the problems when I'm talking to younger operators and people moving up is, I tell them right off the bat, there are no answers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every situation is completely different. And what you do is you sort of like, as you move on in your career, you take these little nuggets and you tuck them away.
Yeah.
But they may never help you again.
It's
But then every
true.
once in a while you go, oh wait, I got that in my back pocket. I know how to deal with this. But I think I've asked a couple of people this, and the number one answer that I get from people, which I actually also subscribe to, but you can only do if you've been in this industry for a while, is you go, I got off the dolly and I grab the two of them and I smack their heads together and I say, you two have to figure out what you want because I can't be in the middle of this.
Yeah.
Now, that's the adult way to do it.
Totally.
Like, you two have to go to your room until whatever. But that can also completely backfire on you. And that comes from knowing, okay, I may never get hired back again,
Yeah.
but I don't care because I'm not going to play this game.
Right.
There's more diplomatic ways of doing that and less. And it is a weird thing because I also agree you're there for the director's vision, but you're also protecting the director of photography.
Yeah.
And I've had situations where directors of photography go, I don't care, just do what he wants. It's going to look like,
Yes.
if you want to do what he wants, that's fine. And you're walking away and you're like, God, don't put me in,
Right.
And truthfully, it's an unfair thing to do to me. I mean, at the end of the day, but I know that, like you said, you don't know what's going on. You don't know whether they're getting a divorce or whatever.
Yeah.
So I just sort of go, okay, I'll do the best that I can. And I try to fudge it back to where it is.
Same.
And 9 times out of 10 later on in the day, there'll be sort of like, you know what, I'm really sorry I put you in that situation. I'm sick of this guy and, blah, 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 or whatever. So it's
There's always something else going on, I feel like.
there usually is, and usually what I find it is the two of them are just, one of them is pissed off at the other for some reason, and one's punishing the other or something like that. And it's not a DP director thing; it's a human nature thing. But often I'll sort of go, let me show you this, and would this be okay? And even if it's really not, one of them will usually give in and go, yeah, that's fine. And then it's like, okay, at least it's not my problem anymore.
Yeah. Well, I think offering up, when I started operating, I wasn't, I work with Jody Miller quite a bit, and I love working with him because somebody will say, I want this shot. And he'll say, okay, that's great. What about this as well? Like, what if we add this in? And he always offers up something. And I think that's really valid and like a really good trait of a good operator is that you're tweaking it. And it's also a little selfish, right? You're like, yeah, but I also love this part of the shot. Like,
well, I understand why you say selfish. I don't know if I would use that term because
probably not
it's
the best.
Well, no, but I mean the reason why I'm saying it is selfish because in the sense that it's you are serving yourself and putting yourself into the thing. But I think what it is like they've given you this this rough diamond, and you're going, but I can polish it by making this a little better.
Totally.
And look, Jody's a great operator, and kudos to him for saying it. I don't say it, I just do it, and then they go, that's good.
Which
and
is
then
also
9 times
a
out
good
of 10,
learning.
they're like, I came up with a great shot, and I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. No, it's so
But I think
true.
we all do
Actually,
that, no matter what.
Yes.
Yeah.
In your own way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody does that, and I mean, you're constantly adding flourishes to it, and that's. That's just part
and that's
of
the
job.
fun part of it, right?
Yeah.
And that's what's the creative process for me personally is like it's not so much technical anymore. Now it's like, oh, I'm adding a little zhuzh to it or whatever.
Now, but you have a camera operated, right?
I have. It's been interesting. I've done it on just different episodes on my shows where the A camera operator was gone or sick or whatever. So I've stepped in. It's definitely different, It's
How
like,
so? What's
I mean,
different?
you're dealing with actors so much more. I'd say, I talk to actors. I'm very open with what I'm doing at B camera, but like you're on your own kind of agenda on B camera. Like A camera, you're getting the shots that matter, like the shots that are going to be on the screen.
Yeah.
Like it's not just the flourish; it's the meat and potatoes.
Yep.
And so. And it's all on you. It's a lot more pressure, I think. But I like it. I do like it.
Are there parts of it that surprised you that you didn't realize? Like, oh, this is what I have to do, or oh, I'm doing this now?
No, I think I know the job. I think I've been doing it long enough that I know what it entails. I do like it actually. It's fun to do every single shot. Like if you're on a show and you're not really used as B camera, you're sitting on the truck, that's the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, I always say I'd rather be working. Like if I'm there, I'll find something.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I mean, I like it, and I want to be an A camera operator. I just haven't had that opportunity yet.
And what about? It's funny because people talk about how the A camera operator runs the set, and I actually have a little bit of a problem with that terminology. I think the A camera operator has the responsibility of the set not devolving into chaos and falling apart, which is different than running the set.
Yeah.
But how did you step into that? Like, was that natural? Was that?
Yeah, I'm pretty bossy.
Again, most people are like, Jess is really obnoxious. But as far as like knowing what the boundaries are, because that is one thing. Like if you're working with an AD, there are some ADs who are like, no, don't do that. That's
Absolutely.
my job, you know?
Yeah, it is. It is a little bit of a situational, read the room type thing. I don't think I've had an issue with it, but I think it's actually come fairly natural to me on my jobs that I've done it, which again isn't that much. So, maybe there's a situation where that won't come as naturally, but I do agree with you. I don't think you're running the set. I think you're a major voice on the set. Like you're the one that's kind of dictating the flow and like how it's going to go, but like you're not running the set by any means.
Yeah, that's it's weird because every time I hear that, I'm like,
yeah.
Number one, because
it's a lot of responsibility.
I don't think the AD
though.
wants to hear that
No.
you're running the set, and you're not. It is a lot of responsibility. But that's why I'm sort of saying. That's why I've always sort of felt as an A camera operator, is like I'm not running the set, but I'm sort of keeping an eye on all the balls to make sure that whatever one drops that's going to basically at the end of the day is going to screw me.
Right.
I'm picking up and pushing forward, or as well talking to the AD and going, I just want to see what you think because I think we've got a turnaround here and we got this.
Yeah.
Did you know anything else? So, so you're sort of like, it's a checks and balances situation.
Totally. And I think something that I have to get better at, and I think you evolve as you become an A camera operator, is like you're vocal. Like as a B camera operator, you're kind of like off to the side, right? But you have to be vocal and you have to like speak your mind. And like if something's not working, like you have to say, okay, let's change this or whatever, which is a little bit hard for me because I've always been, a focus puller. Like I'm not a very on set. I'm not saying like, okay, stop. Like let's fix this. Whereas an A camera operator, you kind of have to be that person.
Yeah. So is that a tough? As an individual, I know that's not a problem for you. But as like going, oh, I'm supposed to speak up now.
Yeah. I think that was maybe the thing when circling back to your question. Like that was maybe a mindset shift for me was how more vocal I needed to be.
And when you go back then to B camera, is it do you have to mentally go, oh, I'm not doing that anymore?
Yeah, that's a hard shift, especially if the A camera operator isn't as strong as, like, I'm a fairly strong personality. I've had that recently where the A camera operator hasn't been as strong of a personality as me, and that gets hard to bite my tongue.
Just to sort of not see things working as well as they could be and let it go.
Yeah.
And how do you just bite your tongue? Or
I just bite my tongue, which is not, and then I like bitch to my husband about it when I go home. He gets all the. You
just like talk at him for half an hour until it's out, and then it's like, no, I'm going to have a glass of wine.
He's like, really? No? Yeah. Like, again? Like you're going to hash this out again? Cool.
Going back to B camera, that question, that reminds me of, I directed an episode of ER in season 5. I was 29.
Whoa. I didn't know that.
Ridiculously full of myself at that time. But I finished on a Thursday, and the editors have 3 days to cut before you do anything. So like Friday I went back to operating. And I remember the first shot up, like it was a Steadicam shot. And, roll camera, they slate, and I went, and action, and everybody stops. And I remember Chris Chulek was the director, and he leaned out and he was like, so if it's cool, I'll call action. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
That's such a, you're just switching hats,
well,
right?
he was perfectly fine with it. It wasn't fine with it, but he understood. But
totally.
And
that's
just
hilarious.
Everybody rode me. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, that's an amazing story,
and
actually.
And the funny thing is, in like day one, you're sitting there and someone's like, Dave, you need to call. Oh, that's my job. So by the time of it, you're so used to it, and I'm like, oh God. So it took a little bit to actually. It probably took that one moment of just complete and sheer embarrassment and utter terror to turn that off. But I think that's one of the things about changing hats is you have to go, I know what's supposed to happen.
Not my job.
Not my job.
Not my job. Yeah.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
That is a tough one. And I've actually had situations before where I've shown up as a B camera operator because, I'm on something, and the A camera operator clearly...
I think we've talked about this before.
Have we?
I think so, because I think I've had this issue where I'm like, you're so much more seasoned than sometimes if you take an A camera job, and
Yeah.
how do you?
And you've actually have much more experience than the A
Yeah.
camera. And there's that weird thing, by the way, of first of all, the A camera operator will come up and be like, it's like they almost don't know what to do because they sort of like, would you be okay? And I'll go like, look, you are the A camera operator, dude. Tell me what you need from me.
Totally.
I'm here for. And usually once they find that you're cool with that, they're fine. But then they'll come up and go, hey, can I ask you, do you think I should do this? And I'm like, well, I'd do this, but like you got to pull it off. So what do you think? So it's a
crazy,
weird,
right?
it's a weird thing where you don't want to be too much in the mix, but you want to help people. I don't know, whatever.
And you also don't want to overstep boundaries. Like, I think that's a big part too, where you're like, this isn't my job, but I would do it this way
Exactly.
or whatever. And
Yeah.
it's you have to like a little bit swallow your pride and like, be able to.
It's strange. There's no question about it. So we've sort of you've mentioned it a couple times. I want to go to it specifically. So you have a family.
I do.
And when I met you, you had just had Indy.
Yeah.
Your
He was
son.
like 5 months, 6 months old.
5 months, and you want to tell people what your snowfall experience was?
Oh man!
Which I was like, why is this woman in the bathroom constantly? What's going on?
So Indy was born in August. I took mat leave through December, and then I started snowfall in January. So however old that was, he was 6
Starting
months
the show, like it started in January.
It started in January, and I was the A camera focus puller, which is a big hat to like big shoes to fill right after a baby. John Lindley and Jeff Greeley gave me a huge opportunity, and basically they said, "Can you do this?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." Always, you always say yes.
But just to back off,
Yeah.
you had keyed first other shows, or this was a move up as well.
This was a move up as well.
So you moved up and had a child. So,
yeah.
Okay.
I was the B focus puller
you
the
thought that was
previous
smart.
season. Yeah, exactly. Right. Like again, like I think I really thrive when they throw me in the deep end and they're like, figure it out.
Well, I also say like, what a big part of this business and succeeding is just sheer stupidity.
Oh yeah. I honestly, like, had I known, no, it actually went well, I think. I mean, you'll have to ask them, but I'm still very good friends with them, and hopefully they'll hire me again. Yep. Shameless plug. No, Indy, I was pumping. So I was breastfeeding Indy. I was pumping 5 days. I was pumping on the freeway into work, mid-morning, lunchtime, mid-afternoon, and then on the freeway home.
I didn't know about the freeway part of it. Let's just put out there that for anyone listening, that's probably not a great thing to be doing. So let's put a pin in that one.
It was crazy.
Pull over.
And also we're shooting Snowfall, which is in like the dregs of LA, right?
Yeah.
We're shooting in these like crack houses.
We shot in some nasty places.
Really gnarly. And legally, productions are supposed to offer you like a safe space with like clean water and like
a new mother, you're saying, to
breastfeeding.
to breastfeed or to pump or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. And they were like, yeah, you've got a trailer at base camp. And it's like, well, base camp's 20 minutes away. I'm the key first. I'm pulling, like I would do it during rehearsals. Yeah. And like, it was like, okay, I'm going in this freaking 2-seater or whatever. Like
into the bathroom.
Yeah. And it just, like, I credit Indy having a huge immune system, a great immune system to this day to Snowfall. Because it just
great.
is like, it wasn't ideal, but like we made it work. And you hear these stories, like once I started having a family, you talk to these older assistants or older operators that had kids, like when that wasn't a legal thing that they had to provide you or whatever. And they were like, yeah, we were in the dark room, or the grips would make a blackout tent for me on set. And it's like, man, I actually had it fairly easy.
Yeah, you had the nasty bathroom to go into at least and lock the door. But from my perspective, I do remember, first of all, I think when I came in, maybe you told me or someone, I think you said like, let's just so you know, and I'll be leaving set occasionally, and it was seamless because I don't remember who was
Eric
the
Dyson.
Eric
and
Dyson
he
was
stepped in.
He was the beef focus puller, now an operator.
Yep.
And he would just go, hey, Jess had to step away. I'm up. And like nobody knew. People knew.
Well, we had a sign.
But there wasn't a sign. I'm not going to explain what Jess just did, but there was a sign, that a visual cue to what's going on. But yeah, he would just like, I don't think a day player would have had no idea what was going on.
No, we were really like, it was down to a science.
And actually, you mentioned them, but I think it's worth mentioning, like, kudos to John Lindley and Jeff Greeley, which knowing them does not surprise me in any way.
No.
But for the fact that they were like, no, we should be able to do this, and
Yeah.
there's gonna be a hiccup occasionally or whatever, but it'll be fine because
Yeah.
there's bigger things to do.
Absolutely. And they have families and they
Yeah.
appreciate, I mean, they are a huge advocate towards family life in this industry.
Yeah.
And I do think it's changed. Like if you would have asked me 10 years ago if I could have a family and have this career.
Wait, backing up, how long ago was this?
Oh God, is it 10
Wait, how
years?
old's Indy?
He's going to be 6 this
Okay, so this
August.
was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, well, 5.5
5
years
and a half
ago.
years
Yeah.
ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, maybe more than that then. Like when I started this industry, my dad's best friend, who, because I'm in the industry because of him, didn't have a family at the time. He chose his career. And I thought, this is my choice. Like, I am not going to have a family.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to be I wanted to shoot at the time. I'm going to be a DP. And this is my life. And like, you look at some of the older DPs and they don't have families or kids. And Amy and I had a big conversation about it. Like,
Amy Vincent.
yep. And
When she was on Snowfall, you mean?
yeah. She, it's hard. It's hard as a female because you don't want to. You've worked this hard for your career, and then pregnancy, mat leave, babies. Like it takes up so much of your energy and so much of your time that like a lot of people just bow out. They're like, okay, I'm choosing a family versus a career. I've been fortunate enough where, so I had Indy, I went right back to work and I worked until I was on a movie called Book Club and I was 9 months pregnant with Indy. And they were like, you have to stop working. You have this liver issue. Like, we're going to have to induce you 3 weeks early. And I'm like, no. I have 2 more weeks of this movie. And they're like, no, you have to stop working. Like, you have to give birth.
Your doctors were saying
Yeah.
that.
Like, you have to give birth. And I
Did
was
they
like,
understand what kind of movie it was?
I don't think so. I mean, those women are incredible. And, I went to the DP and I'm like, I'm so sorry. And he's like, oh my gosh, like, yes, please go have this baby. And so it was really hard, but I was very fortunate that I could work up until that point. Like I felt great. The grips were so funny. They were like giving me an apple box every minute. I was a focus puller. So, I was sitting down, which I never sat to like pull focus, whatever. And, I'm like, I'm fine, guys. I got this camera. I got this
I was going to say,
12-to-1.
for anybody who doesn't think about it, that was back with film.
Right.
And you'd put a camera with a 12-to-1 up on your shoulder, which is just stupid.
And I was B camera.
Stupid when you weren't pregnant, but that's another story.
Like, I would take it off the head so I wouldn't do head sticks and 12-to-1 with mag. Like, I was make sure I would. But everyone's like, put that camera down. And I'm like, guys, I'm fine. I know my body.
My first AC that I worked with quite a bit was Michelle McKinley. And she worked up till 9 months pregnant.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, I was like, Michelle, I just can't hire you anymore. And she's like, oh. And I was like, no, it's not discriminatory. Like, I can't watch you do this.
Well,
like,
it's hard for a lot of guys, honestly. They were like cringing.
I look at you pick up that camera and I'm looking down at the ground because I'm assuming that kid's going to come out.
Seriously. Like people, it was way harder for guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then with Goldie, my second, she's 3. I had her in May of 2020. We shut down. I was on a show called Goliath with Jeff Greeley. We went home on March 13th of 2020.
Because of COVID.
Yeah. And it was like, we might see you in 2 weeks. We might not see you, Jess, because you're going to have a baby. I went back to Goliath in September and I had a 4-month-old. And people were like, oh, like this worked out great for you. Like COVID was awesome for you. And I'm like, yeah, it wasn't awesome for everyone.
Yeah.
But I probably would have worked up until I gave birth to Goldie too. But that, what I'm saying is that's not always the case.
Sure.
Like women don't have that opportunity if they don't feel well, if they're on bed rest or whatever. Like, so then all of a sudden you have this career that you've worked really hard for, but this family, and it can like divide your wants and desires. So I've been very fortunate.
I remember being very impressed with that. Like, number one, that you could pull it off and be so good at your job, but also just like, and that everybody else was just like, nope, and it was like, there was never a question.
No. And I do think like it's changed. The industry has changed. I think it's more family oriented now. People are like, it's not the end of the world if you have to miss a day because your kid's sick and you don't have childcare. Like, do that. Actually, on Gaslit, Goldie had a seizure. And I remember getting the call. I was setting up a shot, and it's Sean Penn and Julia Roberts.
You were the B camera operator.
I was the B camera operator. We were setting up two cameras, and I got the call from my husband. He frantically, and I picked up, which I never really do on set. And he said, Goldie just had a seizure. The fire department's here. And I hung up and I went back to perfecting my shot, which in my head, I think I was in shock and I wasn't sure. And the DP, bless him, he also has kids my age, came right over and he said, what happened? I see on your face. And I told him and he said, go home. And he took over my camera. And I'll never forget that. It was like the most kind movement, which I didn't, the fact that I was like, okay, I'll go back to work.
You don't even know what to do.
You don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I've been in this industry where you don't leave work. You don't.
That's the weird. It's like, well, I know my leg's broken, but I think I can pull this off.
Yeah.
And it's just stupid. We were. It's not. You're right. It's not that way anymore. Thank God.
Yes.
I had somewhat of a similar thing, which is I was on Lucifer and I was a camera. We were downtown and I got a phone call. No, I got a text from my daughter Tamar, who was in high school, saying that their campus was on lockdown because there was an active shooter.
My gosh.
And I was just like, I can't.
Right.
I don't even know.
I
don't know what to do with this. And the weird thing was, I was like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do because I'm not going down there.
Right.
And I'm not. And so, of course, I texted my wife and we're texting back and forth and I'm looking on social media. And I think the director, actually, who was a friend of mine, came over and was like, what's going on? And I told him and he was like, you need to get out of here. And I was just like, I know, but I don't know what, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Seriously.
He goes, I can't tell you what to do, but you're no good to us. You got, go downstairs and whatever. So I just walked away.
Yeah.
And thankfully it was nothing. And it was, but yeah.
But I don't know if 15 years ago that would have been I didn't have kids then, obviously, so I don't know. But when I was getting into the industry, I was like, oh, this will never work. These two can never work hand in hand.
Yeah.
And even when I was pregnant with Indy on set, I'd be like, oh, you have kids. What did you do? And everybody's like, oh, my wife stays home. My wife stayed home. My wife. And I'm like, I'm not willing to do that. I love my career. I've worked really hard to be where I am. How do I make this work?
Mm-hmm. And your husband is in the business, right?
He is, yeah. He's a camera assistant, and we have a full-time nanny, which we pay an ungodly amount of money for. But she is like she's an extension of us, and she can pick up where we need her.
And I remember very specifically, because your husband's an amazing photographer as well, a picture that he took.
Yeah, the picture heard round the world.
The picture heard round the world.
I mean, it went viral.
Yeah, no,
Thanks
it did.
You.
It did. It was you came and showed me this picture, and it was you on the camera truck sitting on a Fernie pad, like in this nasty ass camera truck on Snowfall, and you were. I don't remember what. Did your husband run out of milk at home, and he brought him?
They came to visit.
Oh, they just came to visit.
It was such a random day, and I think we were shooting close to home, and he came to visit. He brought Indy, who was whatever 6 months at the time, and I breastfed him because I was like, oh, I'm here, whatever. It's a rehearsal. Well. I'd be pumping.
You came and you showed me this picture, and I was like, that is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember. I guess I asked you if I could post that or something.
You did. You asked, and I gave permission, and then Diego, who's at Dolly Grips, who started Crew Stories, which is fantastic. That was his first Crew Story post.
That's what it was. Yeah, he saw that.
Yeah.
And he created Crew Stories about it because I posted a thing and I remember that. And now I posted it and I basically said, this is what I love about Local 600.
Yeah.
Because and it was about everybody jumping up.
Totally.
And it was just the best. But it's one of the coolest pictures ever. I mean, it's obviously.
And it resurfaces. He posts it as an homage on Mother's Day now. It's
it should be.
It's 6 years old or whatever.
Yeah, and it's just it's like there's equipment all over and you're sitting on a Fernie pad, but it's just this is, and it's also there's something very this industry about it, which is no, this isn't perfect, but I'm just gonna make it work, and
which is why we all love it, right? I mean, it's just real, and that's what's so wonderful, and really everyone was pitching in, It tells the story of all these other people covering me while I could be a mom or whatever. Yeah. And it's just so wonderful. Yeah. I love that photo.
It's it's an amazing, I mean, look, it's credit to him because he has such a great eye. But obviously, if it wasn't going on, that image wouldn't exist or anything.
Right.
So now they're older. How old are they?
Indy will be 6 in August, and Goldie turned 3 in May.
Okay, so they're not
5.
teenagers like
No.
my kids are past teenagers. It gets easier when they're teenagers because they're like, you were away for 6 months? I didn't even know you were away for 6 months. Or thank God you're going away for 6 months. So how do you deal with because you're working a lot,
I'm
right?
working a lot. It's very hard, especially when when we're both working, because there's days where I leave before they wake up and I'm home after they go to bed. And those days are very hard. But the great thing about our industry is that we can have a month off. Like, we took the month of February and went to Costa Rica as a family. And like, that time is so precious.
Yeah.
And you're really with them 100% of the time. And, I kind of have shifted my career towards episodic television because it's in town, because it has decent Monday through Friday, hours-ish.
Yep.
So I'm there on the weekends. I did just do a job. I was in New Mexico for like on and off for a while, but the largest stint was like 3 weeks. And that was harder on them, I think, and me. But I like came home for one weekend and like, FaceTime, it's way easier now than it was. Like you hear these stories of mainly guys that did it forever. And, it's a lot easier now. I feel very fortunate, but I try to stay in town. And now I think we're past the sweet spot because Indy starts kindergarten in the fall. And now it's a little harder. Like before, if I would have gotten a movie, say in Thailand or, Europe, they would have just come. And it's easy for my husband to like, and I would do the same if he got a job like that too.
Mm-hmm.
Like we just kind of, whatever, hopscotch our career or something.
Yeah. And do you guys take or not take jobs based on who's working, or?
No, because we have this nanny. The first year of Indy's life, we didn't have a nanny. And so, yes, we did like alternate jobs, but it's not ideal in LA, right? Like it's nice to have 2 incomes and, but yeah, if like something, we try to make it work. And honestly, like, I think my first day of Winning Time, I was like, hey, to the DP, like, my son it's his first day of preschool. Like, I'd love to walk him to school. And he was like, okay. He doesn't have kids, but he was like, okay. And then the key grip, who does have kids, Dave Richardson, was like, do it. Like, you'll never get that time back. He's only got one more like first day of preschool. And it is a little bit like.
And that was your first day on Winning Time.
I think so.
It's a great way.
I know.
Thanks for the job, by the way, just to let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
like,
I totally get it.
Same with like, preschool concerts or whatever. Like, can I go for a few hours? Jeremy's job is pretty lenient. He's on the Star Wars like train.
Yeah.
And he bikes to work. And so he gets to come home at lunch and see the
that's
kids.
great.
So that's been a huge help.
Good.
Like, I think you just make it work.
I think the other thing is that we all grew up in this sort of like, we all grew up in this world where like there was normal, and normal was like mom stays at home and dad goes to work and comes home at 5 and we all have dinner. I mean, not everybody, but that was, and I think that there's this stigma that not doing that is bad.
Right.
And I think it's more about the amount of time that you spend together, that it's quality time.
Totally.
Because it's like, well, if that was so great, then why are all these screwed up families out there? I mean, obviously that isn't foolproof.
Well, and I have to tell you, I think it's very important for my children, both male and female, to see me working. Like, I think that that's a really important lesson. Yeah. And like, it's not normal for like a person to stay home in LA, like to be a stay-at-home mom. Like, it's not that normal. Like, we don't know
can afford
anybody.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like, and we've shifted, and this was a Jody Miller tip, that like we've shifted the rhetoric in our house where mom and dad don't have to go to work. They get to go to work. Like, we love what we do. We're lucky to be working. We are so fortunate. Like, we live in this wonderful place. We get to do all these things. Like, we get to go to work.
That's great.
Yeah. And so I think it's an important
so
lesson
you're
for
brainwashing
kids.
your kids
I
is
am.
what it is.
Totally.
Okay,
I mean,
good.
isn't that parenting?
No, it is parenting, but I don't know if from the larger corporate society in which we live in, it's healthy. Yeah. Well, and at the end of the day, the other part of it is like, this is normal for them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they don't know any different.
They don't know any different.
Right.
So,
It would get abnormal, I think, if they were like, oh, you're
Why are
leaving for
you
9
home?
months.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
During COVID, they're like, please go back to
please,
work.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. You're driving me nuts. And again, trust me, it will get to that point where
Yeah.
you're like, why
Yeah.
are you talking to me?
Get a hobby.
And I love both my kids. I just want to put that in there for anybody listening. But no, it's yeah, and I mean it's all ebb and flow, and I think it's about the quality of the time and whatever.
Yeah.
And have you ever worked with your husband?
No, we make it a point not to. Like, it's a rule.
You just know that's not going to work out.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
absolutely.
that's good. That's
there
healthy.
are people that do it, but he actually made that stipulation early on. Like,
Really?
we will never work together.
And that's been back when both of you were assistants then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 9 years ago
Yeah,
this year.
all
So
right. There
yeah,
you go.
we just recently did. I was on a second unit and he was on the main unit, and like it was actually kind of fun because he would pop in
Yeah.
and like we were on stages, but like
No, that's smart.
Yeah.
Look, knowing what works and what doesn't work, that's great.
Yeah.
So tell me about winning time, because like that must be just a
Dream.
You were the B camera
I was the
operator.
B camera operator.
Second season.
second season, which comes out soon,
Right?
August
Yeah.
6th or something.
Although depending on when people listen to this, maybe not.
Yeah, exactly.
Or it has come out, and it was really good.
I mean, it just was a dream job. Like, it's film also, which I had never operated on film.
Whoa.
Yeah. So that's a whole new, like, the eyepiece,
Yeah.
you making sure it's rolling, making sure it's in focus. Like, it's way different than, digital.
Yeah.
And so that was so fun. The
And
cameras,
is it multiple cameras all the time, I'm assuming?
multiple cameras all the time. I mean, it's kind of just it's a menagerie of cameras.
And it's tons of different formats, right?
Yeah. So they did 8 mil, 16 mil, 35 mil video cameras.
Yeah.
I mean, all of the things, and it's just so fun. All of the toys.
And because it takes place in the 80s?
Yeah.
Is the 80s?
Yeah.
Do you
70s and 80s.
Do you guys talk about it all, like framing choices in that versus framing today is different than framing in the 80s was? Or
when we shoot, we don't when we're shooting 35 mil, but like
when you're shooting like the story, quote unquote.
yeah. It was all just like how we would normally frame.
Okay.
They do interesting frames. Like there's no rules on winning time, which is the best part of it. Like, I'm like, I want to do this, and the DP's like, yeah, absolutely, do that.
That's
and you're
cool.
like, this is like, just throw it out there. He's super collaborative. His name's Todd
Todd Ben.
Hazel.
Oh wait, what's his name?
Ben Hazel.
Ben Hazel. I was
Yeah.
going to say Benzali. Or...
Yeah, Ben Hazel.
Todd Ben Hazel. And wait, but there are 2 DPs?
There
he
were
the only one?
3 this season,
okay.
but only because Todd directed an episode.
I gotcha. Okay.
So, Rick Diaz and John Matashak.
Okay, so they were just they came and went a little bit, but it was
Yeah.
basically Todd.
Yeah.
Because I interviewed for season 1.
Oh,
with,
you did?
with Todd, because I knew Mihai.
Yeah, I knew
from,
Mihai. Yeah. Mallory.
from the Western that we did.
Yeah.
But yeah, and they were telling me about it. It sounded amazingly cool.
It's just so different than anything you shoot nowadays.
Yeah.
And I think that's like pretty magical. And I mean, I had a really great experience. The crew is great. The cast, most of them are great. And like, it was so collaborative and creative. I think that's like something that sometimes we miss in regular episodic television.
How
right?
so? What?
Is like a wide over tighter. Like, it's just like this formula that you can get stuck in.
You're saying normal television.
Normal
Yeah.
television. But winning time, you're like, Todd, I really want to do this shot. And he's like, yeah, go for it. Like, I think that'd be great. Or what if you did this instead, but like also get the same I mean, it was great. And the A camera operator became a good friend of mine. And like, we worked really
Who's that?
well together. Dominic Bartoloni.
Oh, Dominic. Okay,
Yeah.
so Dominic moved up to
He
A.
did, yeah.
He was the B camera,
He was-
steady camera
exactly.
operator, and Sarah was the A camera
Yep.
operator. Yeah, okay.
And then Dom moved up. And
Second season, yeah.
And then I don't know how my name got put into the mix because, I didn't know Todd. I didn't know Sally Richardson.
Who's Sally Richardson?
She was a director,
Okay.
showrunner,
Oh,
producer,
all right.
kind of. But she's wonderful too. Female, like, great to see. She like runs a set. Like,
Yeah.
I just had a great time. Like,
That's
it was you shoot these games. Like, it just. I'm not a huge sports person.
Me neither.
But it's really fun.
I
to
actually
shoot.
love the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about the what's his name who does the rollerblade stuff?
John Likey.
John. But that must be
Likey?
amazing to watch.
Oh, he's such a pro. Like, it's like this talent that, like, yeah, I mean, it's so fun.
Yeah.
And he's so good.
And so when you guys shoot the games, is it sort of like do they play the games and you just sort of like cover it, or is it designed?
Actors, and then there's like the players, and all the players, like, so like we'll shoot wider when it's like the players and tighter on faces when it's the actors.
It's almost like a stunt.
Totally.
And the whole thing's like
exactly.
A stunt. Yeah.
You're just bringing in a whole team.
Wow.
And like, I mean, they're playing for hours. Like, these guys are such good athletes that you're like, but you know, they do it in a tasteful way. And then the coaches, and it just was like, I got to work with Adrian Brody. So Jason Segel was on it. He was on Muppets. So we like still knew each other. And then Adrian Brody's just like the biggest pro of all time, where you're like,
remind me, who does he play? He plays the newscaster
Pat
guy?
Riley.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
So like the coach that takes over.
You don't know him?
Yeah. I know. Sports. Yeah. No, it was great. It was wonderful.
Amazing. That sounds like a dream job.
Yeah.
And what about operating the other stuff? So like, do you try, like when you're operating the video and stuff like that, do you try to like center punch do you think about how things have changed?
It's interesting. They have a C camera operator on that show who mainly is like the 8mm, 16mm. Like, Dom and I were mainly just on 35mm cameras. Every once in a while we would jump on a Ikegami, but like that was sort of, they have crews for everything. So like my camera was mainly the B camera, 35mm. So I didn't really get to play around with different formats. They're there, but like it's actually good. I think it's better because then you can set your mind for the cinematic like way versus like video, or
you're not going back and forth.
And like, yeah.
Okay, so going back to operating, what do you do for prep?
Well, B camera, non-steady cam, we don't get even a day of prep usually. So, you know, I was like talking to
next question.
Yeah, I was talking to Jeremy. He's like, I look at my call sheet, I see my call time, I weighs it out the night before, and then I start drinking.
Excellent.
No, I always bring two tools that I like. It's a right handle for the O'Connor.
Mm-hmm.
I actually really like that because I keep my tension really high. And I can, you know, if I'm on a 12-1 or something. And then I bring my Cine saddle, which is my handheld. I consider it my rig. I wear it under my arms to like rest my arms on. Mm-hmm. So I always bring those, and I always, you know, I check the crew list. I see who I know, and then if there is a script, if I'm given the script, I always read the script. I think that's super important as a storyteller to know, you know, what you're kind of trying to accomplish. And that's really it for me. I mean,
do you try to show up on your own time to prep to build your handheld rig, or you do that on day one?
I don't. I do it on day one, which is probably not the best. Like maybe when my kids are older and I have more time.
You have kids, so it's not like you're sitting around.
That's what it boils down to. Is like I'd rather, if I'm gonna start, you know, a 6-month episodic, I'd rather spend the last day with my kids. Yeah. But yeah, I do it on day one, and I usually do it fairly early, just so I'm not like, they're like, throw it on your shoulder and you're trying to figure things out on the day, you know, at the moment.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, it's B camera. We just don't get a ton of prep, you know? So it's kind of like you show up and hope everything goes well.
Do you contact the A camera operator ahead of time to sort of like connect?
No, but you know what? Dom did that for me on Winning Time, and I really appreciated it.
He reached out to you.
He reached out to me and said, cool. Hey, I think we should talk, and like, I just want to touch base. And it was so lovely, actually. And I probably should do that, honestly, but I don't.
Look, it's funny because as an A camera operator, I do that.
Yeah.
But I think there's something weird. Well, not weird about it, but I think it almost makes more sense because as a B camera operator, you're like, well, I don't want to like overstep, or maybe they don't want to, or, you know, like you don't want to push it. But as an A camera operator, I'm like, look, I just want to find out who you are.
I think it's a great idea. And you know what else you do that I think is a great idea is that email, the safety email that you sent to us on Snowfall.
Oh, you remember that?
I kept it. I save it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. Good.
Yeah. And I like have taken parts of that and done my own email to my crew or whatever.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good.
No, it's
yeah. No, I always reach out to the B camera operator. I mean, because the other thing is like I don't want them to find out on the day that they can't look me in the eye or say my name.
Right.
You know, it gets embarrassing. Is what it is.
Yeah. unless you tell them to.
Well, yeah, you want to let them know ahead of time.
You're punished.
And then,
Don't
and
look me
then
in the
that
eye.
way also, by the way, if they do look you in the eye, you can actually you can deep
Smack
dance
'em.
them right there,
Smack 'em,
and
yeah.
it's
Just-
acceptable
yeah,
because they knew.
Yeah, you gave them fair
Yeah,
warning.
I miss those days as a Steadicam operator when you were treated like a god.
Yeah,
But
it's not the case
it's
anymore,
not the
is
case
it?
anymore. We're
I
like
know.
normal people now.
Yeah,
I have to
yeah.
put my coat on to myself at the end of the day.
That's so rude.
It is. It's
I
terrible.
can't believe that.
Safety-wise,
Hmm.
have you run into any situations where you're like, this is not cool, where you were the person who had to deal with it?
No, but I think I'm hyper aware of it after working with seasoned professionals like you, John Lindley, like people that really care about safety. I think I'm hyper aware of it, and that makes me more of an advocate. Like I've always said, and I mainly keep it when I'm B camera to my B camera crew. Like if you guys feel unsafe, if you're tired, if you can't drive home, like tell me, because I will advocate for you.
So you let them know this at the beginning of the job, or
Yeah, usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, or if we're working like stupid hours, like if it gets
that
dumb.
never happens.
Yeah, and you're like, are you okay? You guys are working really hard too. Like, I don't know. I think I'm more in tune with the safety portion of things because of who I've come up with and who I know in the industry, because I think it's super important.
And so you were talking about, you basically said you want to be an A camera operator.
Yeah.
What do you think? Obviously, the opportunity is its own thing. But,
Yeah.
But what do you think? What's the change that has to happen for you to become an A camera operator, or is it just that people seeing you and calling you for it? Like, are you ready to be an A camera operator? What does it take for a B camera operator to become an A camera? All right, get your ego.
Obviously
Check
I'm
your ego.
ready.
Yeah.
No, I think it's mainly just credits. Like I think people have to like see me as
See you
that,
as, yeah.
which that's always the
How do you
boundary,
get operated
right?
as an
Like,
A camera operator
yeah.
if you're not an A camera operator?
Exactly. How do you get in the union if you can't work union jobs? Like everyone asks me, you have all these people that are like, my niece wants to be in the film industry. Can she talk to you? Sure. You take the call and they're like, how do I get in? And you're like, I don't know. All of it's a mistake for me. Like,
Yep.
it's the same thing, right? So, I mean, I got a call recently for something that they wanted an A camera operator. They said, "Oh, you don't have that many credits." And I said, "No, unfortunately I don't, but like I'm willing to make the jump." And they went with someone else, which is like part of the job, right? Like
Yeah.
part of the process.
And eventually someone will take that chance.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it sounds like with you, it'll be one of these people who knows you.
I think
Who
so.
will
I
give you a
mean,
shot.
generally I work with like the same, like,
Yeah.
you run with the same crowd kind of
And
thing.
as a B camera operator, talk to me about working with the boom operator.
I love a boom operator. I do. I feel like I always really get along with them. And like, there's a lot of times where they have to like get into our shot because they can't do both. Because that's also something, you have these DPs that are like, okay, A camera is going to be on a 14 mil and B camera, you're going to be on a 250 mil. And they're like, sounds like, what the fuck? Like, come on, man. And so you kind of have to like play the political part of that. Like, well, maybe we just do this after or whatever.
Do you ever go up to the DP and go, are we boning sound
Yeah,
here? Should we
I
give
do.
him a hand? Yeah.
I do, because I think it's like, again, it's super collaborative, and like those are your buddies. You don't want to like piss them off or make them like hate you because like you're the asshole that's always like screaming tight on the talent. But we like, I feel I'm a big eyepiece person. Like I actually don't operate off a monitor unless there's like extenuating circumstances. I always go for an eyepiece, and so I think the boom ops, once they know me, like they'll see my wandering eye, like, get up, get out of there or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're all working together to try to achieve the same thing. So,
How do you know when to offer up a shot and when to shut up?
oh man, situational for sure. I feel like I constantly offer up things. Like I try to, again, I hate sitting on a truck. I hate not working. I will always offer up a shot. And the job that I got, I didn't know any of the camera department. That was like one of the first things the DP said to me. He's like, I love that you're always offering something, like whether it's good or bad, like there's always a shot that you're offering. And, but if it's there's also a very fine line of like, and TV's different, of like, can this be used in the cut? Can this be used in the edit? Is this valid? Is this a, like, yes, I'll always offer up a shot, but like if it's a very straightforward situation and it doesn't need to be 2 cameras, or if it's like a long steady cam shot, I'm like, I don't want to offer up anything because I don't want them to break that up. You don't want to give the editors, and that was a big lesson I think on Winning Time. The first season is like, it took about 4 episodes for it to actually like find its footing, I think. And Todd even talks about it. He's like, we gave the editors everything. We're shooting everything. And it's like, actually, we don't want to give editors crap.
Maybe
because
that's
they
a bad
can,
thing.
then they can cut out of like this amazing shot or whatever.
Yeah.
So it is a very fine line. And
there's a thing that sorry, I didn't mean
Yeah,
to cut
yeah,
you
yeah,
off. There's
no.
a thing that I started doing a while back after getting burned, where they do these rolling resets, right? So you're pushing into something.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, just reset the camera while we're rolling. And now I tilt down to the floor.
So smart.
Because I had a shot
They can
where
use that.
where we were pulling back and they reversed it, and I remember seeing it and going, "What is so?" And then I realized like, and I don't remember, like I looked deep in the background and like someone crossed,
Yep.
walking backwards or something.
Yep.
I don't remember what it was, but some clue that they had reversed it. And I was like, "Oh my god!" And look,
Such
at the
a good move.
At the end of the
right?
day,
Like, yeah.
I'm not blaming the editor because they're going, "Oh, I love this," or the director's going, "I love what's happening here," because it's, but.
It's a reset.
But it's not something that I
Right.
intended to do, so my thing is always like either tilt down to the floor or actually operate the reset so that
Yeah.
and probably the better thing to do is to tilt down to the floor because you never know, the actor may be like cleaning out their nose or
Totally.
something like that.
Totally. And
But-
where they just roll and roll and roll and roll,
Yeah.
it happens a lot. And I think that's a good tip because
Well, I learned it the hard way,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
but-
And the other thing is some people will be like, well, I'll just misframe slightly, and it's like, no, they'll probably still
Yeah.
use that.
yeah.
And then
And now they can like punch in
Reset.
or like
Yep.
do something weird with the edit and you're like, that was not intentional at all.
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
So and so you think about the edit when you're pitching these shots?
I try to.
And
I mean,
do you pitch them in like, because I think when we come over here, you could cut into this for a moment and then come back, or do you just...
sometimes if that's like, or I'll say like, sometimes more often than not, if the director comes to me and is like, why aren't you shooting this? I'll say, well, because this camera's getting this and I don't think it's worth the cut back to that or whatever. I do actually try to phrase my conversations with the director and DP based on edit. Attempt to. Again, I think I'm still learning that. Like, I love like seeing that editorial process, and as an assistant, you're not necessarily thinking that way. Like your brain works in a different way. You're focused on different things, right? It's compartmentalized, and then once you become an operator, it allows more space for you to work on the edit. But yeah, I think first and foremost, like, I love composing beautiful shots, but I think first and foremost, I'm a storyteller more than anything, and I think that it needs to all flow.
Well, and at the end of the day, it's like you can make the greatest shot in the world, but if it doesn't tell the story, it's pointless.
Exactly.
And-
Exactly. Yeah.
And on the flip side, you can make the worst shot in the world, but if it tells the story, it's gold.
Which happens
Yeah,
more often
which
than
is
not.
most of my career. And what about working with actors?
Again,
You ever work with a tough actor?
Yeah, sure have.
What do you
oh,
do?
Man, it's I don't make eye contact. I
Really?
like fade into the background. No, there's method actors, there's tough actors, there's wonderful actors that are super collaborative. Those are the ones I thrive with, where we're working together.
Do you have a way to figure out who's who?
I think you can kind of tell first day for me. I mean, at first, like on set, it's like if they introduce themselves, if they're smiley, like it's just kind of human nature, I think. But man, hard actors make your job a lot harder. I will say, like, make my job a lot harder. Like,
I
it's
go on
just-
set and I just scream, "Hey, asshole," and I see who turns around, and then I make a note, and I'm like, "Oh no, you can go back."
Okay, perfect. Well, and I think like you, of all people, and me, like I think we use humor a lot to like, test the waters, test our boundaries, and I think that's a good like litmus test, like a good. Yeah, I don't know. Hard actors make your job 1,000 times harder, and there is no set way to deal with them. or to like handle it. I think it's all so different.
So what do you do when you have the long lens B camera shot,
Yeah.
and it relies on an actor hitting a mark, and they're not hitting the mark, and they're not the actor who cares whether they're hitting the mark?
I think you just kind of suck it up. Like, I mean, I don't have a good answer. I'll like change my tool. Like, we'll add some dance floor and like have my dolly grip, like, you know, I don't know, shift over. But a lot of people don't like that. Like or if you're working on an over and you have to put a slider on because nobody can hit a mark anymore. And like, you know, it's not ideal, I don't think. But,
do you bring it to the DP and the director's attention?
sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I have in the past. And like, you know, sometimes the actors are so difficult that they're like, whatever, we got it. It's fine. Like
nobody wants to mess with it.
Nobody wants to handle
He's
this
in the room
situation.
somewhere. Let's just move on.
Yeah, like basically, like we've got what we can. I did one of my first shots on. Well, I probably shouldn't say names, but we had dance floor down because we knew this was like going to be a tough over, and my dolly grip, it was through a doorway, and the dolly grip was peeking around the doorway, and I was going like this.
Pointing to move one way.
To move one way, and we got we ruined a take. Like, okay.
Oh, you're saying so you were giving a visual cue to your dolly grip,
but like very small.
and the actor was like, what's going on back there?
Yeah, like who the hell are you guys? Like,
that was day
out
one?
day one, like maybe shot one.
It was day one after you came in late because you took Indy to school.
Exactly.
Man, not a good day.
Strike two.
Yeah. No, that's
I'm getting fired.
That's not great.
No, and it just like, there's nothing you can do. Again, talking about a duck, letting it roll off your back. I'm so sorry. It won't happen again.
Yeah.
Like, let's try this again. Like, we will just, and basically that's what it came to, was like, this isn't the best over. I'm not operating this shot because I can't. So like, it is what it is. If your face isn't shown, I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people making you look good. You know, like, I can only do so much.
Yeah.
I am immortal.
I'll cut that part out of the podcast because that's going to hurt you. I was on I don't want to say specific. I was on a television show about the inner workings of the White House. not to put any names on it.
Yeah. Got it.
With an actor in that show who liked to have things the way that he or she particularly liked it. And on the first day, we were doing a push-in on the dolly, and this actor stood up and said, I have to stop. And, you know, I'm sort of looking around. You have to change your shirt, points towards me. And I look down and I'm thinking, like, do I have some political thing on?
Yeah, like what?
I'm like, what? Not you, the guy behind you. And I look at the dolly grip, and he's got a white T-shirt on. But I can't. You have to change your shirt. I can't. All I'm doing is looking at your shirt. How are you wearing a white shirt? I'm like, this is day one, and I'm like, well, this is going to be fun. And
Note to self,
I look at the
don't wear
dolly
white.
grip, who already he and I are not getting along because he had a little chip on his shoulder that I was a young kid.
Because he was wearing a white shirt.
And he was wearing a white shirt. So I said, do you mind putting And I will say, the individual in question did not disappoint for the rest of the show.
Yeah.
Hopefully nobody can figure out what that is because I kept it quiet enough. Headsets. You on headsets most of the time?
If the DP wants to be, yes. Or if I'm on a crane, yes.
Cranes are different. I'm talking about normal operating.
No, I don't like it.
Yeah.
It kind of, I feel like it tethers me. Like, especially you've worked with DPs that are like, pan left during a shot. And you're like, whoa, God, like, this is so off-putting. Again, I will, not the end of the world, but I'm not precious. But I don't like to. I feel like I work with enough professionals, like the focus puller, like we'll talk about the shot, like I think you should pull to this person when they look or whatever. And I discuss a lot with my focus puller. Like I work hand in hand. Like, again, it's such a collaborative process that, I don't think I need to like tether anyone either.
Gotcha.
I think if I was shooting, maybe I'd make everyone wear headsets. The ones that you can't talk back
when
to.
you're DPing, remind me not to work with you.
Dave, pan left. I'd say pan up.
Yeah.
Pan up.
Good Lord. How do you deal with long hours?
Man, I think we are a rare breed. I think you just everyone I know that's not in the industry is like, how did you deal with like kids being up all the night? And I specifically remember Jeremy saying like, pretend we're working nights, but we get to nap in between. And it was like, oh yeah, I can do this. Like, I don't know. You like somehow function, right? We're like high functioning, crazy people.
So just suck it up.
I suck it up.
Yep.
I mean, yeah. Like, God, I sound like such a, I don't know, people are going to be like, okay, note to self, like, don't join the industry. It's so hard. Like, I'm like, yeah, just suck it up.
There's
like,
some truth to that. Look, you were talking before about, your family friends go, can you talk to my nephew about, and I always go, sure. Do you want me to talk them into it or out of it?
Yeah, it's very true.
There's a truth to that. This is not I love this industry.
Yeah.
I hate a lot of it too, but it's a hard
You also
business.
have it or you don't. Like,
Yeah.
I think and you can tell right away, like this person either has it or they don't.
Yeah.
They can handle it or they can't, because it's very difficult. You work with all kinds of different people. Like, there's a lot of egos. Like, it's a tough industry. And to make it and to do well and to stay in it is like, it's like golden handcuffs or something. Like,
Yeah.
we all love it. That's why we're here. If we didn't love it, we'd be doing something else.
Do you do anything in your off time that has that speaks to your operating and your storytelling, or is it just like
A lot of stills. My husband and I shoot a ton of stills. That's really it. I mean, we really like being active and outside, and I think I always say, like, when we're on a job and we're like in the desert, in the sweltering heat, it's like, yeah, but we could be in a cubicle, guys. Like, look at this. This is beautiful.
That's
like, you're
true.
seeing the sunrise, like, after working all night, you're like, this is beautiful. I think just like it's all in your attitude, right? Like how you perceive this industry, and like, maybe I'm naive, but I love it. I couldn't do anything else.
Look, if you are naive, you're hiding within that, so that's not a bad thing, and it's working. So who cares?
Yeah.
Well, this was great. I'm going to leave you with the final question that I asked. Is by the way, is there anything you want to hit? Like any personal projects? I don't know. Some people have stuff on the side that they do.
Just want to pitch myself.
You have 2 kids.
I'm open to.
Jess is available.
I like long looks on the beach. I'm available. No, I think we covered it all.
So someone moving up as an operator, new B camera operator, B camera. Well, I won't ask you B camera operator. We're moving to A camera operator because you're figuring that out. But what's your advice to succeed?
I think the biggest thing for me, for anyone that wants to get into this industry or move up, is to be hungry. Like, be hungry and be humble and be kind. I think those are the 3 biggest takeaways for me is, you have to want it. You have to want to be good at your job. You have to want to do your job. You have to want to show up early, stay late, whatever it takes. But at the same time, you have to like be sort of like willing to, take criticism and run with it. And it has to make you better. I don't know if that's a tagline or something, but I'd say like be hungry, be humble, be kind, I think are my biggest, like, that's it.
I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. We'll be back soon with another great episode. Don't forget to check us out on theop.io for all sorts of information on operating and storytelling. So thanks for listening and have a great day.